Fairbanks Focus is a locally produced public affairs program created in part by University of Alaska Fairbanks, KTVF, and Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us on Fairbanks Focus Alaska View. I'm Nanette Pearson. Today I am joined by Marcy Ward, the teacher liaison for the Space Foundation for Monroe Schools. Hi Marcy, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Awesome. And we have some really exciting stuff coming up. But I wanted to hear how you got involved with the Space Foundation.
Well, I was really lucky. I've been teaching at Immaculate Conception Grade School this is my 29th year. And about 2007, I was able to go to this rocket workshop in Fairbanks, and we had 2 astronauts come up that week. And after that, they were talking about the teacher liaison program, and so I thought, okay. So later I applied, and I was one of the lucky ones that got to be in part of it, and I've been having great experiences and opportunities because of it ever since. So it is a great program to get involved with, and they're out of Colorado Springs. And because of this program, I've been able last year to bring up Janet Stevens, who we're going to meet in a few minutes, and Elias Mullen and Bobby Gagnon. And this year we're going to have Janet Stevens, Elias Mullen up here, Amy Robinson, and a real special person. We're going to have a retired astronaut, Dr. Leroy Chow. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. And you said that we have they're going to be doing several things around town here in Fairbanks, and we're really excited to have them. And I know that you've had a lot to do with getting them up here as well, along with Janet Stevens. And should we take a moment to meet Janet Stevens real quick?
That would be great.
Hi, Janet. We have her Skyping in today from Colorado Springs. Thanks for joining us. And tell us what you do for the Space Foundation.
Well, I am in charge of marketing and communications for the Space Foundation. And like everybody else here, we're a pretty small group, so we also do a lot of other duties. So for next week, I get to be the education lead and also do marketing and communications when I'm in Fairbanks.
Awesome. And so tell us, Janet, what kind of things can we expect to be seeing with Dr. Leroy Chow this week?
Well, we have a really full schedule. We are going to be going to a number of public schools, plus spending a full day at Immaculate Conception and Monroe High School, where Leroy will be in various classrooms talking to kids about space travel, and in some cases, some of the biology students, he's going to do programs about the effect of space on the human body, because he's been involved in several studies. Plus, we are doing 3 public events. On Tuesday, the 12th, we'll be at Immaculate Conception Monroe High School doing a meet and greet from 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. Anybody can come in, meet the astronaut, have some, chat with him a little bit about his adventures. And then on February 13th at the Noel Wien Library, we're doing what we call Audience with an Astronaut, which is also a public free event where you can come in and hear about his experiences. And then we're repeating that program again on Friday, the 15th, from 4 to 5 p.m. At the Noel Wien Library. And those 2 events are co-sponsored by the library.
Very cool.
And I would say that if you're going to come to one of those, that you come early, because space will be limited.
Yes.
Seating will.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the thing on Tuesday is actually your guys' open house at Monroe Schools. And I know that you've had lots of opportunities doing stuff with the Space Foundation, and lots of really exciting things that you've told me about. Can you tell our viewers about some of the benefits of being the space liaison?
Okay. One of the exciting things coming up in April is they have a National Space Symposium, and teacher liaisons are the only teachers around the country that get to go there. They're invited to go to the Space Symposium, and I get to see teachers from all over the country and a few of them from around the world. And so also we get to meet exciting astronauts like Dr. Leroy Chow, and I met a few others along the way. And they've even done a Meet the Astronaut benefit like we're going to be doing here in Fairbanks. And this is one of my dreams, was to be able to do that here. And so I'm really glad that we were able to bring them up. I'd like to mention that we had a grant from Fairbanks North-Star Rural School District to help us out, and they're one of our big donors. And I want to get a big plug for Chris Kennedy at Pogo Mine, because they were able to give us another generous donation. And also, like Fairbanks, we're such a generous city that, and the outlying areas, that we've got lots of donors that are helping me to bring them up here this next week. And so we're excited about that.
Well, I know you've been instrumental in bringing these guys up here and sharing them with the public.
Thank you. Oh, I forgot to mention too that in the summertime they have classes for teachers where you can get credit over in Colorado Springs, and it's kind of fun to go over there and take classes with other people around Colorado Springs area and also around the United States, right, Janet?
Right. In fact, we're having a mini workshop in Fairbanks on Saturday. Saturday the 16th. It's sort of a one-day version of what we normally do for a full week with teachers. Of course, it doesn't have the same kind of credits, but we're going to be doing a lot of fun things. And what we do in our teacher classes is teach teachers how to use space to teach subjects in school. And the subjects that they teach are the regular curriculum things that they're required to teach. But we give them some really fun hands-on activities, and Marcy can probably tell you that the activities are really a lot of fun for the teachers. Then they can take them right back to the classroom and use them to teach the children all kinds of things like measurement and like Newton's laws and biology. They have just incredible activities to do, and we'll be doing the mini workshop for teachers, which is also free, and that's going to be at the Fairbanks North-Star School District, and you have to reserve a space in advance, but you can do that through the district.
That's right. They can do that with Michelle Dammel at 452-2000, or if they're not part of the school district, they can talk to me, Marcy Ward, 479-9080.
Awesome.
And there's going to be lunch provided, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
And Dr. Chow will be there for that, too. He'll be there instructing the teachers as well, so they'll get a chance to talk to an astronaut. He's an interesting astronaut because he flew 3 shuttle missions, but he also flew on the Russian Soyuz rocket and spent 6.5 months on the International Space Station.
Thanks. Yes, he is. It's very interesting.
Well, and it's really exciting that we have an opportunity as people here in Fairbanks, as part of the community, to get to meet him and ask him questions and learn more about space and space travel. I know I've been fascinated with it since I was a little kid, and you've had an incredible opportunity. You've actually gotten to go to space camp, is that right?
Oh my gosh. I got to go to space camp last summer in July in Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, and any teacher can go, and and also kids can go to it too. They have different ones all summer long, and the one that I went to, the beginner one for teachers, is not that expensive. It's under $1,000. That includes everything but your airfare.
That's pretty incredible. And what an amazing opportunity and how much fun. Just so in case you're wondering out there, you're never too old to go to space camp. So
that's what they say. That's one of their bylines on.
Well, and it's true. It's true. Is there anything else you'd like to let our viewers know out there that you would really, really want them to know about our visit, about the Space Foundation, about things that they can expect to find this coming week with Dr. Chow being in town?
Well, we want to remind them first of all, we should remind them, right, that Wednesday and Friday, Wednesday at 7 o'clock, come to the Knowing Library. Come a little early if you really want to come, because unfortunately seating is limited. And on Friday, like Janet Stevens says, we're going to have the same thing going on at the public library at 4 o'clock. Let's see, how should they be able to get in contact?
Can they reserve a space at the Knowing Library, or is it just first come, first serve?
First come, first serve.
So it is a matter of getting there early so that you have a place to sit. People will probably be standing and sitting on the floor as well.
Right. Yeah.
So if you know you need more time and a better place to sit due to any reasons, you should probably get there especially early. And I know that you had a lot of sponsors help bring him up, and it was a lot of work. And of course, anyone who would like
Huge
to be,
amount of work.
anyone who would want to be involved donating, should they get a hold of you directly?
Yes, my home phone number is 479-9080, and I'm almost there as far as the amount of money I need for them coming up. So I'm just thrilled that Fairbanks has been helping me out again this year, just like they did last year.
Well, we have such an amazing community here, and of course, Janet Stevens, we want to thank you as well. For being so open and helping and getting him up here as well. We know that the Space Foundation, works really hard to help make these community events happen.
And I'd like to say that this event is my favorite thing that I get to do all year long. And I was there last year with Marcy, and I have never been in a community that was so warm and welcoming as Fairbanks. We had an absolutely fabulous time. The people there are fabulous, and the kids are very smart. They know a lot about space already.
Well, and you do some stuff with some kids outside of Monroe School too, don't you?
Yeah, and also I just wanted to mention another thing I do with some kids. I have 3rd through 6th grade, I have a space science club. And so we're very excited to have the astronaut and Janet Stevens and Elias Mullen and Amy Robinson come into our class for Space Science Club on Tuesday.
Cool.
And then I work with kids at Ann Weems. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. I help out with the after-school program at Ann Weems. We're doing space science right now with 6th grade and 4th grade.
Cool. Well, it's so cool when you can integrate space education into other things. I mean, whenever you can put it in context and have fun with it, it makes learning so much more powerful.
But what more can be? What could be better than what we're going to have coming up this week? Having an astronaut come to Fairbanks, that's pretty nice.
That's really cool, and we would like to see it again. So anything that you guys want to do to help out, any volunteers out there, people who would like to represent or have more meet and greets with the astronauts too, get in contact with Marcy or Janet Stevens. Will be here, like we said, all next week. And again, I thank you so much for being here. And we have.
Should we mention the Fairbanks Kiwanis Club?
We should.
Because they are going to, right, Janet? They're going to be.
Yes.
It's open to the public for the Fairbanks Kiwanis Club too. Did they? If you're a non-member, did they want us to? Was there a donation or anything or not?
One of the meetings is members only. That's the Chena Kiwanis Club is members only, but the Fairbanks Kiwanis Club meeting, which is at noon on Wednesday the 13th, that is open to the public if you make reservations in advance, and they're asking for a $10 donation to pay for lunch. If you go to our website, which is www.spacefoundation.org, and look on the events calendar, look under events and look at the calendar, all of the events that we're doing, all the public events are listed there, so you can get all the details about where they are and who to call and that sort of thing.
Oh, great. That sounds good. And it starts at noon on Wednesday, and they're at the Red Cross office.
Yeah.
They're right
Right.
next to it in there, yeah.
And I know we have a board here for all of our sponsors, so we're going to give a quick show out and a shout out to the people who are helping make this happen. Quick, Marcy, see if we can get this actually up. So we'd like to thank our Kiwanis, our Fairbanks North Star Borough, and Pogo Mine. There's so many people to thank. So many people have made this happen. The Space Foundation. We, of course, want to thank Dr. Lyra Chow for coming up and visiting with us and meeting us here in Fairbanks. And Marcy, I really want to thank you so much for being such a big part of this and bringing space and space education into our classrooms. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited. And I
You have to come out to some of our events, though.
well, hopefully you'll see me at a few of them, and hopefully our viewers will also get to meet Leroy Trout, just in case they didn't get to make it out next week. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I also want to remind all of the Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation is having a luncheon for all of our all of our investors. That's going to be happening on February 15th from noon to 1:30. So if you are a Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation investor, come on out to the luncheon. Again, that's noon to 1:30, and
Where's
please
it gonna be?
RSVP. It's going to be at the Westmark on Friday, the 15th of February. So get in touch with FEDC if you'd like to join us for that. And next up, we have Samantha interviewing Chancellor Rogers.
Hi there, and thank you for joining us. I'm Samantha Larson with the Fairbanks Focus, Alaska View. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with Chancellor Brian Rogers. Mr. Rogers, thank you for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Thank you. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great today. Thank you, Samantha.
Good. So tell me, it's 2013, spring semester. What's in the works for UAF 2013?
Well, we've got a lot going on, and coming on the heels of a very successful construction year last year, a lot going on the building side, a lot in academically, and a lot on research. Maybe I could talk a little bit about what's happening in construction. We're finishing up the new Margaret Murray Life Sciences building. Putting final touches on now. That'll be completed in late April, early May. We'll start moving in, and we'll dedicate that building in August. So
is that going to be, excuse me for the interruption, is that going to be a completely new building?
Completely new building. It's on the West Ridge, our biological sciences research and instruction. And so we'll be moving those programs out of the Bunnell building and up to West Ridge over the course of the summer. Great new building. It gives us the opportunity to get students together with researchers in some exciting new ways. And at the same time, we'll be breaking ground this spring on the new engineering building, which is right down on the east campus between the Bunnell building and the Duckering building. That building will start construction this spring. It'll take us about a little over 2 years to pull that one together.
I see. So since the classes that are usually taught in Bunnell are going to be moved, is that building still going to be put to use?
Yes, so there's a series of moves that then come after that. So the anthropology department will move out of Eielson and into the laboratories that have been the biological sciences. We'll move some administrative offices that are currently off campus onto the campus, and that'll save us some money. We're now renting off-campus facilities.
Oh, I see.
So that's one set of moves that are on the academic side. The other thing this spring, we'll be breaking ground on an exciting public-private partnership with the Wood Center, expanding the Wood Center to the west and south so that we'll be able to put all of the food service that's now in the Tilley Commons will move into the Wood Center in the fall of 2014. And that's a project that's using no state money. It's a private sector operation. We will lease the addition from the private owners and local builders that are putting it together.
I see. And as far as these changes go with the buildings and moving things around, is there going to be any moving with the student housing? Is that going to be?
Student housing is next on our list after the dining. We actually spent some time working with the same private group to try to find a plan that would work for housing. Financially, the numbers didn't work out, so we're continuing discussions with them. We have in our long-term plan additional student housing that would be just west of the Wood Center. And at some point, we have to do some renovations to Moore and Bartlett halls, and so we'd really like to have the new housing in place for when we have to close those down for a year for construction. So housing will be the next piece. We did one small housing project last summer, the new Sustainable Village, which is four-bedroom houses that are really a research experiment in cold weather design and building on permafrost, but it also provided us with an additional 16 beds in the Sustainable Village. We're working on the long-term plan for Sustainable Village that'll ultimately be in the 100 to 150 student apartments, student beds, but that's probably 3-4 years out before we really complete that.
So as far as that kind of timeline goes, let's say ballpark 5 years, because of all these expansions and building on the buildings, is this because you guys see the university is growing substantially?
It's really to meet our current demand. So for example, the engineering, we have grown substantially in engineering over the last 5 years and are bursting at the seams in the Duckering building. And so the new engineering building was really designed to meet the current demand Same with life sciences. On the housing side, it's really recognizing that the existing housing we have is getting old and may not serve the purpose in the long run. I think the other area of expansion, it really comes about as the Student Life Master Plan that was developed, 8 or 9 years ago, is how do we improve the services we have to students. So we've added a series of recreational components, more planned, but the Wood Center move was one of those. The ultimate move of the bookstore into what's now the Tilly Commons is a piece of that. We've added a climbing wall. We've got the terrain park under construction, roller ski loop on the drawing boards, and the new broomball court. So a whole set of improvements to really make student life on campus more exciting and more relevant to today's students.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to see all these changes.
A lot going on.
As a student at the university, I love it right now. I can't imagine how much better it can get with all these expansions. And I think that it might make it easier for students on campus, kind of getting around and making their way to all the different locations that you need to go if you live on campus or you don't.
We will have a little bit of disruption during construction, and that will add some challenges in getting around. In particular, we've got to close the road between Bunnell and Duckering for the period of construction. So that's going to create some challenges just in logistics. But we think the price is worth it because what we get at the other end will really be state-of-the-art engineering facilities that really meet 21st century demands as opposed to 20th century.
Well, I'm sure all the other students as well are going to appreciate it.
Actually, there will be 2 new large classrooms above Scheibel Hall as part of this that will provide a 60 student and 120 student, roughly, classroom that will allow us to deal with some of the larger classes that have we've been having a hard time scheduling Scheibel, which is our one large classroom. There's so many classes that want to be in there, so that'll free that up a little bit.
Okay, perfect. So as far as other developments?
Yeah, so in addition to the physical changes, we've been thinking about our core curriculum, for example, the basic requirements that every student has to have. The needs of a 21st century student are not the same as those when we originally designed the core curriculum in the late 1980s and early 1990s. So the faculty are working on a substantial revision to the core that will really think about how do we think about issues of global sustainability, civic engagement, other issues that are important to the students today, and how do we better link UAF with UAA and UAS so that students who transfer will have an easier time. So we're working on the core, working on student transfer. The Faculty Senate's just made some very substantial changes on transfer that will make it much easier for students to transfer into UAF. We're also looking at the cost issue. Tuition increases over the last few years have been fairly significant. This year will be the smallest tuition increase in over a decade at only 2%, and really trying to keep costs down so that students can afford to go to school so that they can get through as rapidly as possible.
Now, as far as these changes in the curriculum go, and I know you just stated that the cost is going to be relatively low as far as increase goes, but as far as changing the curriculum, does that mean that the credit amounts that students need to graduate in certain majors are going to increase? Or?
No, there will be no increase. In fact, we're looking, the core is 120 credits to graduate.
Right.
We're looking at any degree program that now requires more than 120 and saying, can we change that to try to get to that? Now, there are a few fields like engineering that traditionally have been more than that, but in looking at the core curriculum, that will help bring those numbers down for about a dozen degrees outside of engineering that are more than 120 today.
Okay, well, that's good news. I was going to say, if we're going to add more credits, you're killing us. But
no, it's really going to be a shift, and some of the courses that are required today may not be required in the future.
I see.
Finally, I think the other area of interest is in research, that we've got some really exciting things going on there. the Alaska legislature funded 2 significant programs last year. One, looking at the issues of ocean acidification and the impact on Alaska fisheries, and the other looking at unmanned aircraft. And really, we're developing expertise at UAF that leads the nation in understanding how to use unmanned aircraft in civilian applications. So those 2 initiatives, together with a major National Science Foundation funding of a new research ship for the university. We launched the ship in October. It's being fitted out now. We'll receive delivery in 2013, and it's a wonderful research platform going forward for oceanographic and fisheries work in the Bering Sea and Arctic Ocean.
Right.
So we're really excited about that new ship coming online.
We a couple weeks ago we had on Adam Krenicki, and he was speaking a little bit about that and how exciting it is,
Yes.
to work with UAF and present those things.
And we have a lot going on as we're looking to how do we commercialize the results of UAF research, how do we build the Fairbanks economy and the Alaska economy with the results of that research. So I think, for example, the unmanned aircraft work, we're already seeing some companies choose to locate in Fairbanks, or some new companies spring up around that area of expertise. And in many ways, I think the unmanned aircraft industry today is where personal computing was in the early 1980s, and we're really going to see an explosion in the number of different applications that are possible out there, working on public safety, working on research, working on environmental issues that will really enhance what we can do in Alaska, where we don't have roads to everywhere and we don't have airports, and weather conditions don't allow fixed wing to fly everywhere.
Right. And I hate, we're running short on time. I hate to have this up. Just one last thing. Do you think that these new projects with that you just spoke about will maybe bring more jobs to Fairbanks if companies come in and new companies sprout?
We're already seeing those impacts in the unmanned aircraft arena. I think we'll see others. We've got a spin-off company we anticipate that will be looking at how we monitor and respond to volcanic eruptions, probably a spin-off business there, several others that really underpinning job growth throughout the country are the results of university research. We want that to happen here.
Well, I'm excited. I think that all these changes are great for the campus, the students, student life, future students. If you're thinking about attending UAF, is there anything else that you would like to add? Let our viewers know.
Our new ad campaign, the Naturally Inspiring campaign, was really crafted to say, what is it about UAF that's unique? And I think our students are inspired by the kind of research that's going on, by the kind of activities that are going on. And UAF's a great place to study. It's a great place to work and live as well.
Great place for opportunity.
It really is.
I came up from Colorado to go to UAF, expand my education, and it's been completely beneficial, and I'm so excited to still be a part of it.
I came to Alaska for the summer many, many years ago, saw the university, said this is the place to be, and I came here for the same reason. And I think the university, we not only serve the Alaska students, but we bring in some good people to the state.
Absolutely. All right, well, that is going to about do it for us here today on The Focus.
Thanks.
Thank you again for joining us.
Great to be here, Samantha.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us. I'm Samantha Larson, Fairbanks Focus Alaska View. That's going to about do it for us here today on the show. Have a great one.